It is November 20th. This is the Legit Betting Edge podcast, episode number 16. I'm Brian Benito with my partner, Scott Johnson. Scott, crazy Thursday night in football. How are you this morning?
Well, let's just say I was on the right side of what happened in that Tulane-Tulsa game, and I woke up this morning, I didn't want to walk outside, thought I'd be hit by lightning or something, but what a crazy finish to that game. And, the Cardinals and Seattle, if people watched our podcast and saw our Thursday night clip, we pretty much had that game nailed. This Thursday night games, I know we love watching Thursday night football, but man, the later we get in the season, the sloppier those games get. And that was just a sloppy football game last night. And I know we were talking about before the podcast, and you were saying Arizona's in big trouble. And I totally agree with you, especially if Murray is out for an extended period of time. But even if he's there, they're looking at some hard times ahead, being such an undisciplined team.
Yeah, they lack tremendous discipline. That goes on the coaches. They have massive athletic ability on the offense, but that doesn't matter if you're not disciplined. You're going to lose games against more disciplined teams, whether they're athletic or not. So, tough road ahead for them. If Murray is hurt, tough road if he's not. They're not going to win a division. That's the way I feel about that. Well, we got 10 games going for Saturday's college football slate. Let's kick those off and go through every single one of them.
All right, Sun Belt. Appalachian State getting 5 at Coastal Carolina. The total here is 48. App State's pretty much been the Mike Tyson in this division for a while. They're the gold standard in this division. But if they're Mike Tyson, this Coastal Carolina team is Buster Douglas, and they've been playing phenomenal this year. And I love their offense. I love Coastal Carolina's offense. I think their defense can get enough stops here. This is a game I'm on, and I'm already on. I got it. The line's at 5. I got it at 4.5. I'm on Coastal Carolina here to cover the 4.5. App State, they're definitely a tough team. They're good on the defensive side. They've got a really good rushing attack. I just don't think they're going to be able to keep pace with this Coastal Carolina offense. They're legit. They've got playmakers everywhere. Their quarterback is making really good decisions. So I love Coastal Carolina here. I'll give the 4.5 points, and I'm all over Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I like Coastal here also. They had an off game against UAB. They turned the ball over a couple of times, but they're pretty solid. They've been playing very well-balanced football for the course of the season, blowing out teams they should blow out, winning by double digits, even though they didn't cover that one against UAB. I think it was UAB. They missed it by 1 point. App State's undefeated, though, but App State has been the killer in the conference, but they do go down tonight, and I side with you on Coastal Carolina.
Okay, let's go to the Big Ten. Big game. 2 top 10 teams here. Indiana at Ohio State. Indiana getting 20.5 at Ohio State. I love this. I love this Indiana team, but Ohio State, they're definitely by far the best team in this conference. And Indiana, I don't know how to say it. Ohio State, their defense is where I question. They're gonna put up points. I love the over in this game. I think there's gonna be tons of points scored in this game, and I also think Indiana's gonna get inside that number. And this Indiana team is a senior-heavy team, and in 2017, a lot of these kids were freshmen, and they were up on Ohio State 14-6 in the second quarter. Now, eventually, pretty much got blown out in that game, but they had that taste of being in the lead here. So I don't think Ohio State's going to run completely away from Indiana here. I think Ohio State wins the game. I think they probably win it by 2 touchdowns, but I think there's going to be a lot of points. I still question a little bit this Ohio State defense. I think they're going to give up points, but I think they're going to put enough up, and Indiana's not going to be able to keep pace. And also, Indiana has been causing a lot of turnovers, and that's how they've been scoring a lot of points. I don't know that Ohio State's going to turn the ball over, and if they don't turn the ball over, can Indiana, go 75 yards against an Ohio State defense? I don't know the answer to that. We're going to find out Saturday, but I like Indiana to cover this, but I like the over more here. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this game.
I don't have an opinion on the total. I know Ohio State had the week off last week because of COVID, but I do know this. Indiana, they beat Penn State, what was it, by 1? They beat Michigan State, and they beat Michigan. They beat 3 garbage teams. Ohio State has got talent all over the field. 20.5 seems to be I mean, it's a big number. Anything over 20 is always a big number. But I'm going to side with Ohio State here. I think they come out roaring. I think they make a statement. I think Indiana beat up, terrible teams. And I don't think they can hang with Ohio State. I think Ohio State wins by maybe 24, 28 points. I think they do crush them here. How many points are scored? I don't know, just because I can't get a gauge on it. But I do think that this Ohio State team is heads and shoulders above even Indiana. And I think that the victories in Indiana's 3-0. I just don't think they're impressive. Yes, they did beat the hell out of those teams, and those teams are not good. True. Ohio State is a better team, and I just feel that Ohio State's the right side in this game. Now, do I get on this game? We'll see. I'm not on it yet. That's just my opinion based on what I see, and there's no way I can back Indiana. I will look for a reason to back Ohio State minus the 20.5.
Yeah, and I like I said, if I do anything in this game, like I said, I think Indiana can stay inside the number, but also, looking at how Indiana scores their points, they've been getting a lot of turnovers, and like you said, they've just played 3 garbage teams, so that's a reason why they're getting those turnovers. And now Ohio State's not going to give them the ball 4 times, on their side of the field. So, I said, I don't know if Indiana can keep driving the ball, down their throat and keep up, because Ohio State's going to score. So, All right, we're going to stay in the Big Ten. And we're going to go to Iowa at Penn State. Iowa favored by 2.5. The total here is 47. And earlier in the week, I was looking at this, and I was kind of liking Penn State, but now they've got a scandal coming out where in 2018, I guess there was a fight, and one of the players pulled a knife, and then the coach told him not to cooperate with the police. So that's happening. I think the coach for Penn State, he's in trouble here anyway. So I'm going to stay off this game. I still like Penn State. I still like Penn State in the game. But just in light of what's going on in that locker room and what's happening with this, this information that just came out for me, I'm going to stay off this game. If you ask me to make a pick, I kind of lean on the Penn State side here. I think they can get their first win. Iowa, they're a ball control defensive team. So I like Penn State. I don't know the quarterback situation. I think Clifford's days are probably done. They're probably going to roll with that backup guy. But I'm off this game. Like I said, lean Penn State, but I don't really have a play in this game.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Iowa is an average team. They're not very good. They're a middle of the pack team. Penn State, they're 0-3. They did play Ohio State, and they did lose by, I think it was 12 or 13 in that game. And they lost to Indiana, got clipped by 1. Obviously, they lose last week in Nebraska. Nebraska is a well-rested team. But I mean, those are higher quality losses than let's say Michigan's losses. So to me, I think Penn State's ready to win a game. I think James Franklin is not a horrible coach. I think he'll have his team focused, regardless of this little thing that's been in the background. And the media always likes to come out with this stuff right before Saturday, right? But I just think that it's too late to distract Penn State. They may not win next week. They may get off track again. I think they're able to clip this Iowa team and get the victory here. In a close game. They're not going to blow anybody out, I don't think. I just think that they are ready, though. They're not going to go 0-4.
Okay. Let's go to, this conference had a wacky finish last night in the Tulane-Tulsa game. So we've got Cincinnati going to UCF. Cincinnati favored by 6. The total here, 63.5. And I really like this game. I like the Cincinnati team. I mean, they're a really good defensive team. They're able to put up points. They like to run the football. Their quarterback, he's been throwing the ball very well here. But UCF can put up points too. Cincinnati laying 6 at UCF. I don't know if I trust Cincinnati to cover that number. Can Cincinnati win the game? I think this is going to be a close game. If Cincinnati wins it, I think it's going to be a field goal, something like that. So I like UCF to cover the 6 here. Don't really have a play on the total here. I think that it seems about right to me, so I don't have a play either way. But I like UCF to stay inside the 6. I do like Cincinnati to win the game. I think they'll win a close, hard-fought game here. I just don't like them covering the 6 in this game.
Yeah, Cincinnati's a juggernaut right now, right? They're just killing teams. But UCF isn't a slouch. This is a game I won't bet on, but I do side with you on it. Lean UCF. They're at home. They're catching 6. The line has risen. I think it opened. I'm not sure where it opened, but I know it's risen tremendously. And anytime a line moves up more than a half or a point, I tend to get leery of betting the team that it moved for or against. And so I'm going to just stay off this game. I'm interested to see the final score in this because I do look at UCF. I do look Cincinnati. I look to back them when I can. But right now, I'm just not going to see anything in this game that's going to make me want to go either way. But I am interested in the final score. I do lean UCF plus the points just because they are a good team. They're a solid team. They're at home. I know there's no crowd still. They are at home. And, a good team at home catching 6 in against another conference team, you got to kind of look that way. It's a no play for me, but that's where I would be looking if I was looking to bet the game.
Let's go back to the Big Ten, and we got another good game. Wisconsin at Northwestern. Wisconsin right now favored 7.5, and I've cashed on this Northwestern team every week. I love this Northwestern team. I said it last week in the podcast. I think they're very disciplined. I think they don't beat themselves. They've got a good defense. Their offense does just enough, but I'm not going to be able to back them this week because this Wisconsin team, they pounded on Minnesota. They pounded on Michigan. And I know those two teams in the Big Ten aren't, the best teams, but this Wisconsin team is good. And I think they're going to, I don't think Northwestern's going to be able to keep pace in this game. I think 7.5 is generous. I think Wisconsin's going to win this game probably by 2 touchdowns or more. Their quarterback is on fire. They've got a passing offense. They still love to run the ball. Their defense is always going to be good, and their defense is improving every week. Held Michigan to 3? I think they got a late touchdown, 11 points. So, Northwestern's been good to me, but I just can't back them in this game at all. I think Wisconsin's going to roll in this game. I think Northwestern gets their first loss. I'm probably not going to play the game, even though I really think Wisconsin's going to, roll in this game. I'm probably not going to have a play on this game. If Northwestern wins, that's great. I think they, like I said, I've cashed on them for 4 weeks in a row. So I kind of have a, soft spot for them in my heart, but I think they're going to face, a different beast this week.
You said Northwestern's been very, very good to me. I just thought of that old comedian. Baseball has been very, very good to me.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I'm gonna side with you on this because Northwestern has been very, very good to me too. But I will tell you this: they were on the lead and chase. Purdue was chasing them last week. They had to keep scoring and scoring and scoring, and I think that comes to bite them. I think they run out of scores this week. I think the under hits. I think Northwestern is going to have a tough time getting the end zone. I think Wisconsin does beat them. They are a superior team, and they're hitting on all cylinders. And so, this 7.5, it seems to be begging for Northwestern money, but I don't think it comes near 7.5. I think it hits double digits. I think Wisconsin wins and covers this game. I'll look to back Wisconsin.
All right, let's go to the Big 12. Kansas State at Iowa State. Kansas State getting 10.5. If this game was at Kansas State, I would probably back Kansas State here because they always play tough at home. But Kansas State, I just don't trust them on offense. They just can't move the ball. They played Oklahoma State. They played a tough game against Oklahoma State. But, Oklahoma State is starting to, show that they're pretty I think they're a little overrated themselves. And I like Ohio State. I like Iowa State in this game. That 10.5, I don't know if they can cover the 10.5. I think Iowa State wins the game, but I don't really have I looked at this game. I looked at numbers. I just couldn't get – Kansas State has burned me too many times. So I'm off of this game. I don't like Kansas State on the road. I don't like Kansas State's offense. So I would lean Iowa State in this game. But for the most part, this is going to be a no play, no bet for me.
I'm going to take a look at this game a little closer now. I haven't looked close at this game. Generally, at home, Iowa State minus the points would be okay, except for the fact that Baylor came close to beating them a couple of weeks back. Now, they didn't wind up covering that game there. And I've been on Iowa State a couple of times this year, and they have covered for me. I haven't played them in the last game against Purdue. I didn't take Purdue either, so I didn't play that game at all. I would tend to I'm going to look for evidence to take Kansas State in this game. I just think that's a big number. Kansas State does play well. Yeah, when they go on the road, they're not as good, sure. But this is it's a conference game matchup, and both these teams are playing decent right now. So I expect a close game, and I'm going to look. I'm going to go back. I lean Kansas State just because I'm looking to try to back them. I haven't bet it yet. Take that with a grain of salt. But I'm going to look. I'm on the other side of this, or I am on the side of Kansas State, and the fact that I want to find a reason to back them. I don't know yet, but 10.5 is a lot, and Iowa State's been covering. I think Iowa State will win the game. Will they win by 10 or pardon me, 11 or more? We'll see, but I'll take a look at it. But I'm going to lean Kansas State on this one.
Let's go to the SEC. Tennessee at Auburn. Tennessee
Talk to me.
getting 11. Yeah. So anybody following me on Twitter, Instagram, my Facebook page, you know that this is my college football play of the month right here. If you go to my website, you'll see my betting philosophy. I use a unit system. I usually in like 1 to 5 units in games. That's kind of where I stay. Every once in a while, I'll jump outside of that if I see like a distinct advantage in my eyes. And this is one of those games. The last one I saw was Game 6 of the NBA Finals. I think we actually even talked about that, just that Miami was just gassed. And I didn't see any way that Miami could stay in that game. And I thought LA was going to blow them out, and they did. And that was the last time I had kind of one of these feelings about a game. And so now we come to this game, Auburn. And these are two teams just going in opposite directions. Auburn coming off a big win against LSU. The offense started to click a little bit, and that defense held that LSU offense down, which was very impressive. And in comes Tennessee. Tennessee got off to a good start this year. They're 2-0. They were up on Georgia, in the first half of that third game, and then Georgia just came out and blew their doors off in the second half. And ever since then, this Tennessee team has just gone downhill. Plus, there's a lot of infighting going on that coaching staff. The athletic department was asking some of those coaches to kind of give back some of their salary to help out the athletic department. A couple of the coaches did it. A lot of the coaches didn't do it. There's a lot of coordinator fighting going on. Not only that, their quarterback, he had a head injury, so I don't even know if he's going to be back in this game. And even if he is, we saw what he did against Kentucky. He was throwing the ball to Kentucky the whole game. So I don't like Tennessee's offense at all. I think they're going to struggle against this defense. I would be shocked if they put up 10 or more points in this game, and I think Auburn's just going to roll. Tennessee's defense has been decent, but I think Auburn's just going to roll in this game. I actually think the game stays under, and I like this game probably somewhere in like 34, 37 to 10, somewhere around there. I think Auburn's just going to wax them. It might even be worse than that, but that's kind of where my numbers have this game at right now, about 34 to 10. So this game is where I'm jumping out of my little betting philosophy zone. My 1 to 5, I'm going to play 10 units on Auburn. I've got them at 10.5. The other thing I looked at is early money, the public early money, about 75% of it was coming in on Tennessee at 10.5, and that line was sitting right where it wasn't moving anywhere. And it didn't start to move until a couple of the syndicates kind of, jumped on the Auburn side. So that line's gone up to 11. It might jump up a little bit more. I don't know if, maybe 11.5, maybe 12. But I've got it at 10.5. This is my game. I love this game. I'm all over it. Auburn minus the 10.5. I like them. Even if the line gets to 12, I would still play this game. I think Auburn rolls in this game.
I'm going to defer to you on this one. I'm going to make a play on Auburn just because you love it. I don't normally do that, but I like the under also. I'm leaning under. I'm going to look to justify the under. You just validated that for me. I'm going to go back and just try to justify the under. I like a low scoring. I don't look to, I like this Tennessee not to get on the board a lot. I like Auburn to cover the number, obviously siding with you on that. Auburn they had last week off. Am I correct on that? Auburn was off last week? Okay.
Yeah, their last game was LSU a couple weeks ago. Yep.
Right, exactly. And they blew out LSU. So I don't see why they wouldn't continue to be able to do that, especially against a team that's discombobulated and out of sorts like Tennessee is. But I do like the under 50.5. I don't think Tennessee scores very much, and I'll look to push that and Auburn as well.
Let's stay in the SEC. Mississippi State at Georgia. Mississippi State getting 24.5, and that's a big number in the SEC, but I don't think it's big enough because this Mississippi State team has been struggling. Mike Leach, right? Mike Leach came over, and they can't get it right. I mean, they had a huge first game against LSU. Everything looked right in the world, and ever since then, they have just absolutely struggled on the offensive side. Georgia coming off a tough loss. I think they're gonna boat race Mississippi State. That's just my opinion. I'm probably not going to play anything in this game, but I think Georgia's going to take out a lot of frustration here, and that's my opinion on it. Like I said, no play, but that's just how I see this game.
I like Georgia to take out some frustrations on Mississippi State. I don't think Mississippi State. I think they maybe score 10, maybe 14 points. I think Georgia gets to in the 30s, obviously. in order to cover this number. I think the game might go over. I think Georgia might score more than that. So 44.5. They're looking at, if Georgia covers 24, Mississippi State can't get any higher than 10. But I do look to Georgia to shut down the Mississippi State offense, take out their frustrations after that loss from Florida, and just roll this Mississippi State team to try to make themselves feel better about losing last week to Florida in big fashion. And in fact, I know we don't have Florida on this slate, and we don't have Alabama on this slate actually, but I look for Florida to roll. Also this week, just as a side note. I know we're not going to talk about that, but I like Georgia in this game, minus 24.5. This line seems like it's begging for Mississippi State money. It probably will till game time. It probably won't get enough. It might go up to 25, and I look for Georgia to cover that number.
All right, a fun game in the ACC kind of is Liberty at NC State. Liberty getting 3.5. Liberty, an undefeated independent, just like BYU. And I watched that Liberty game against Virginia Tech, and on offense, man, they've got 2 or 3 really explosive players, including their quarterback, who's a dual threat, who can throw it and can run it. They've got a running back with like 4.2, 4.3 speed. So they've got a lot of talent on the offensive side. Can their defense hold up? I mean, NC State's been, doing really well on the offensive side too. So I look at a couple things here. I like Liberty to win this game, so I'm probably going to be on Liberty. I don't know that I'll probably just take the 3.5 here. I probably won't do the money line. But I also love the total here, and I think this game is going to fly over that 66.5. I think this is probably going to be a track meet because NC State, I don't like their defense that much. I think they can give up points with the best of them, but I also think they can score. And this Liberty offense is, like I said, they're pretty explosive. They won that game of Vol Tech. They beat Syracuse. This is going to be their third game against the ACC on the road. So they've got a pretty good resume that they can throw up there. I mean, I don't think they are better than BYU. BYU being an undefeated independent, and I know we're not talking about BYU, but I don't know what their game opened at, like 70 or something. And they're probably going to cover. They're probably going to cover whatever that number is. So I don't know where it's going to end up, but BYU is probably going to roll this week against North Alabama. But this Liberty team, I've watched them play a couple games, and I really like their offense. Very explosive. I think they're going to put a lot of points up. I think that they're going to win this game. I don't think they run away from NC State. I think it'll be a tight game, up and down, the whole game. So I like it to go over. And I do like Liberty to cover that 3.5. And like I said, I'm picking Liberty to win this game.
Tight game here. Yeah, Liberty's a great matchup for NC State because they can both score. You're right. NC State can give up points as well. But can NC State stop Liberty on any one drive? We don't know that. We'll find out on Saturday. 3.5 is a good number for taking Liberty. I'm going to side with you on this one. Plus the 3.5. I haven't made a bet on this yet, obviously, and I might put this in a teaser. Liberty plus 9.5 somewhere.
Yeah.
Yep. Because you're right. It's going to be a very, very close game, and I got some noise outside. I don't know if you can hear it. But I like Liberty plus the 3.5, and I think this game does go over simply because both these offenses will score points.
All right, and then the last game, it's going to be a big game in the Big 12. We got Oklahoma State going to Oklahoma. This is a touchdown game. The Cowboys getting a touchdown. The total at 59. And, Oklahoma State, I know they were to talk to the Big 12 early on, but I don't like the form that they're playing in right now. I don't trust this Oklahoma State team. I don't trust them on offense. I mean, their defense is okay, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop this Oklahoma team. And this Oklahoma team, after the rough start, they've just been rolling. And I think they're just getting better and better. And it looks like their quarterback Rattler is going to be okay. I know he kind of had that hip injury in that last game that they played, but I love Oklahoma in this game. And here's another game that I like the total because Oklahoma's defense is okay, not great. So I think Oklahoma State can put some points up, but I think Oklahoma is going to put a lot of points up, even against that Oklahoma State defense. A touchdown in a rivalry game, that's a lot of points in a rivalry game. And I know this is a big time rivalry game in the Big 12. So I really like Oklahoma in this spot, but the 7 points there in the rivalry game, I have a hard time, maybe picking a side. So I'm probably going to be on the over in this game also at 59, because I think Oklahoma is going to score. I think this game is going to probably be somewhere in the 30s, 37-31, 37-34, something like that. That's kind of what I see in this game. So I'm going to probably be on the total in this game. I haven't made a bet on it yet, but I do like the over in this game.
I'm not going to be betting this game at all, but I will say this. I think Oklahoma State's defense is a little better than Oklahoma's defense. Oklahoma has been running up and down the field. but against who? The Texas Techs of the world. So, yeah, they're scoring a ton of points. I don't think they faced a defense like Oklahoma State yet. And when Oklahoma did face a tough team like Iowa State at Oklahoma, they did lose that game. Are they better now than they were then? Probably playing more cohesive now than they were at the beginning of the season. But still, I don't trust Oklahoma to cover the 7. That being said, Oklahoma State hasn't been playing well the last couple of weeks. Ever since that overtime Texas loss, they haven't done what they should do, and they're having trouble, really making things happen. So this is a game I'm going to stay on the sideline, just kind of watch and maybe get a gauge for the future with, and just do something with. But I'm not going to look at the total. I'm not going to look at the side. But I do lean. If I was gun to head, Oklahoma State plus the points, just give that a look. I would give that a look if I was looking to play this game. If I couldn't justify that, I'd stay off the game. Me, I can't justify it, so I'm staying off the game. I don't know if that made sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. So that's all the games that we had. But like you said, there's a few more. Florida. I agreed with you. That's why we didn't really go over this game, because I think Florida's going to roll in their game. I think Alabama's going to do fine in their game. BYU, there's another. I really like this BYU team. I hope they make it. I don't know if they're going to get in the playoff. I'd love to see them get there. I don't think they're really going to be challenged. I don't think there's anything on their schedule the rest of the way, and that's probably going to end up hurting them, and they won't get into the playoff. But I'd love to see them go up against like an Alabama or a Clemson. I don't think they can win that game. I just love to see how this team performs against a competition like that. I just don't think they're going to get into the playoff. I don't think they'll let them in.
No, I don't think they will either. I'll tell you this: I think BYU scores 70 points this weekend, and I think North Alabama might get maybe get 7, but I think they're going to cover that spread. So by was that 63 points? It's a 58-point spread, 58 and a half, whatever it is. But I do think BYU scores the most points they've scored this year, which would be 70 would get you there, 77 would get you there. I think they're going to score 70. I looked at it. Alabama's playing Kentucky. This is extra stuff, and Kentucky's getting 30. I like Kentucky to stay inside that number. I think Kentucky's got the defense to shut them down. Alabama hasn't really played anybody with any defense, but I do think Kentucky can slow them down. Kentucky's playing with confidence. I think 30 is too much there. Florida's favored by 31. Who the hell are they playing again?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember, but I know.
I think they're going to roll.
I think they're going to roll. I think they're going to beat them. They're just going to destroy them. Florida keeps rolling this weekend, so I think that happens as well. So a lot of big spreads this weekend, but I think most of them will get covered, except I don't think Alabama will cover, and that's about the only one I don't agree with. Other than that, man, listen, great podcast. Any final thoughts? Shout out on social media.
Yeah, if you like what you're hearing, definitely go to the YouTube channel, subscribe. Get notified, hit that little bell, get notified every time one of the podcasts drops or one of our game breakdowns drop. Smash the like button if you're watching it. Retweet it. Tell everybody about it. You can find me on Twitter at ScojoAZ Sports. Over on Instagram, Scojo Picks. Facebook, my page is Scojo Picks there. I put information there. And always go to my website, scojopicks.com. We're doing a lot of this football stuff, and we're giving out a lot of this information, but college basketball is right around the corner. That's my bread and butter. I know that Brian loves the NBA. He's really good at that, and he's good at college basketball also. So you can go to my website. I'll have packages and stuff up there. You can check that out. I'll be talking more about that. I'll release a video and some information on what's coming forward with that. But really excited about college basketball coming, and football, we still got a lot of football to be played and a lot of football to talk about. So enjoying this and hope we can keep it rolling.
Absolutely. If you watched our video for the Seattle Seahawks Cardinal game, we were spot on again. So it only gets better, the information, and we continue to learn and improve ourselves. So, we don't win every game, but when the games we put up here, we do feel very good about them. When we put something out, it generally does well for us. Sometimes we lose. Bottom line, though, it only gets better with the college basketball and the NBA coming up now. We're just getting started. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you watching. If you're watching, smash this like button. Give us a shout out on Twitter. Subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that. You can find me at @my_bankroll on Twitter. And that is the end of episode 16.